Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Morning Brews. On today's show, Mikey Moore close to signing a new contract. Emerson Royal to AC Milan close to happening. And Ange, is he telling us the truth? Stay tuned here. Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour, your world-famous morning news and brews show with the Brews Brothers, the Cough, and the Roadman. You woke up this morning, Dave?
I did, yeah, I did. Like I said to you behind the show, mate, I had a little rave going on. So I had multiple alarms just going beep, beep, beep at me, so yeah.
So you had Darude Sandstorm on all morning?
Pretty much, yeah. I just literally was lying in bed just doing this, mate.
It's like Spurs during COVID, where that was our goal music.
Yeah.
Big up. But before we get started on the show, let's say hello to the people that are in the audience. We have Tony Rodriguez, YouTube member. Good to see you, Tony. Good to see you. John Ratcher, Once Upon a Rhyme. Good morning, Ben and David. Hope we are all well. Bokatov, Simon, Bokatov. Hopefully you're well. Good to see you. We got Andrew Gregory. Good to see you, buddy. YouTube member. Good to see you, buddy. We have a Tavakron Wembley one. Morning, boys from Glooey Tywin, Northwest Wales. Good to see you.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. I thought you should know it. All parts of Wales. We got Ryan in the house saying, up the Spurs, the Guardians of the Galaxy. No. We have Tweaky. Good to see you, buddy. YouTube member. Good to see you. Border da. Good to see you. We got Darren Johnson. Good to see you. Ryan, I woke him up. No, you didn't, mate. No, you didn't. We have Fran, YouTube member. Good to see you, Fran. Hopefully you're well. We have Shawnee Slater from the Guardians of the Pombo. Morning, Cough, Roadman, and the chat. Breaking news. There is none. Good stuff. Is Gwyneth, I think.
Gwyneth? I haven't got a clue. She just Googled that.
How can you call that Gwyneth? It's not got a single F in it.
Yeah, but double D sounds like that. It's Gwyneth.
It's ridiculous.
It's not an F. It's more like a TH. Basically, it's Gwyneth.
Ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna put two A's together and say it's an E. Because I
you can't.
Yes, I can.
It doesn't work like that. You can't.
That's what that is. So that's what I'm going to do.
Don't insult my language.
We got the number one Agon bar in the world. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Bladder. We got L equals C. Correct. Hi, sexy boys from Rinketic. Good to see ya. Never heard of Tywin, David. Come on. I love a double D. It's too early in the morning for that, Chris. It's too more early. Stop being a lunt. Breaking news. I've had my breakfast. Yes, you have. Hopefully it was something tasty. Right. Mikey Moore is apparently close to agreeing a new deal with Tottenham Hotspur. I don't know the length of the contract or the money, but this tells us that Mikey Moore is going to have a very serious part to play in the next season, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. And hearing recent reports about obviously the direction this club's going, it kind of makes sense. You know, keeping a lad like that around with a lot of interest, you develop him up.
Yeah.
You know, you build him up. He's going to be worth a lot of money because obviously we'll speak about it in a minute after we spoke about this. That, the way this club's going, mate, it looks like we're going to be doing this a lot more. And it's not because he's so good, which he is, bear in mind, but it's because of what's obviously going to be happening with Tottenham in the future, mate.
And it's going to make you all very angry. We got El Del Cockerel, say morning, Ben Giovanni, and Daffa. You're a Daffa cake, apparently.
I'm a Daffa. I like it.
Daffa cakes. I like it. I like it. We got Mikey Moore, new contract. We are winning it all. It's pronounced. What is this?
Tuin.
How is it? There's not a single U in there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Mikey Moore, 10 years, 50 quid per day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Top interested in unburned nephew for the future. Okay. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Double D is a bra size. I know very well that it is a bra size. I know very well it's a bra size. But this is a really good bit of news, isn't it? He's better than Brian Hill. Indeed, he is. I'm not even going to ask the question because we already know that he's better. But it's good that we're getting all our ducks in line in terms of these youth players because we don't want to do what we did with Mackenday to Blackburn years ago. We just let a good kid go. But Mackenday hasn't really shown anything recently, has he? So we never know. But of course, you've got players. That boy that plays for Chelsea that was in the Netherlands for a bit. What was his name? Chat will give it to me. I don't know. Madueke.
Oh.
Madueke. Apparently, Moore is very shy. No personality, but he's only very young. I don't know. Maybe he's just a robot. That's what we need some way. But good bit of news. On the next bit of news, Brian Hill is apparently close to rejoining Sevilla under a few options. They want to only pay 6 million euros and they don't want to make it a loan to buy. They want it to be a loan, but an obligation if certain criteria are met. We should tell Sevilla to stuff it, shouldn't we?
Yeah, mate. They're taking the mic. Taking the mic. I mean, right. It's this again, I think, is just utter nonsense. There's no way someone's going to be able to get all that information out. Daniel Levy is no way at all going to agree with that.
Yeah.
It's not. It's ridiculous. I mean, to say all that as if they're demanding something.
Yeah.
No, I just think it's a nonsense, mate. Honestly, I just don't think there's no truth in it. Whoever decided to write that is just one of them type of journos that are bored, have no news, ain't good enough to actually investigate stuff and, find out truths and stuff and just decided to write up an utter nonsense of a story.
Yeah. The question about Brian Hill is, though,
is he better than Brian Hill?
No. No, he's not better than himself. No, he's crap. He's absolutely woeful, and I don't want to see him ever again. Absolutely. Yeah. He gets his haircut. Yep, he's just got a bowl cut. Yep, just a bowl cut. But on the final bit of transfer news, before we go to our main topic of the show, and we're going to actually increase the time for this topic because I think it's going to be a really good talking point for me and Dave. Emerson Royale is finally close to joining AC Milan. This has been sort of a duck and dive. They use Matty Cash as a smoke screen. It looks like it's going to be done soon, doesn't it? Damasio tweeted it yesterday, and when Damasio's tweeting it, usually it's quite close, isn't it? Damasio's a very reputable transfer journalist and was at one point seen as the number one before Fabrizio came onto the scene. But this looks like it's going to be the chapter's going to be closed, isn't it?
I'm hoping so. Like I agree with what you were saying about Damasio. He used to be really, really good. As of late, he is a bit hit and miss. But we know AC Milan really want Royale. I don't know why, but obviously they were looking at Matty Cash, couldn't get a deal done there, and they're looking like to come back in for Royal. I think they're going to probably up their price a little bit. I don't think it's going to be the exact amount Levy wants, unless it's some sort of, we'll give you this amount and then the rest will be on add-ons or something like that. Yeah. I feel like with the way Jed Spencer's going and getting such praise from the coaching staff, and obviously, everyone being surprised at how well he's actually come in to the preseason and how well he's doing and, impressing them so much. I feel like at one point that this Emerson Royale business will be over and he will be sold. Because you can't keep an Emerson Royale and not play him.
Yeah.
Because of wages, because of obviously of a contract or something like that. So yeah, I do feel like this will get done probably in the next week or so. And yeah, Emerson Royale will be no longer a Spurs player. Because I mean, we've seen the Højbjerg one. No ITKs knew about Højbjerg.
Yeah.
It was out the blue. He was literally landed and signed within a day before even all ITKs had a clue.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's something behind the scenes happening with Royale. So yeah.
The reason he is on the tour is apparently we've heard little inklings from places. The tour has no impact on incomings and outgoings. It's got no. If someone they're going to be paying for their flight, it's going to be that. It's just that's going to be it. Most of these players have sponsors that will pay for the flights anyway. So there is no.
Another thing about the tour as well is the reason that he's still going on tour is because it's that in case it doesn't happen. Now we know with transfers, a player could be having a medical and it can change. So as it's that because of that, while you take him on tour in case he doesn't get sold, then you're having to obviously, use him next season.
And finally, this is an opinion piece, I would call it. We've all gone through these youth players, and Daigle alluded to it last night on Evening Brews with Mr. Box Office, which is a great show. So if you haven't seen that, head over to the show after this one, and you can watch it back. Or with the magic of YouTube, you can watch stuff back. Ange Postecoglou, is he telling us the truth? Yes or no? Because we have all been listening to him. The world is news spreads very quickly with things he is saying. Things he's saying are things like, I'm going to challenge for the title. I want to install a winning mentality. I want to sign strikers. I want to sign players early so I can bed them into my squad. And so far, none of those things are happening. None of those things are happening. We've not signed a striker. We're not installing a winning mentality because we're conceding 10 million goals a week. We're not signing top players, which make that winning mentality. And we only seem to be getting our ducks in a line when it comes to the youth side. And this is just us asking the question, because it would be it's not delusional. The word is it would be not good at us. It wouldn't be fair with us to not ask this question. Is he telling us the truth, Dave? Or is this him having his hands tied by the powers that be, like every other manager at this football club? Because we were talking in the back end, and we alluded to another football club that we might become in this football club, but bigger. If they said we were going to be a team that only buys youth players and sells them on for a lot of money, but they told us this was the plan, not a single one of us would have a problem with it. Because they said, this is what we're doing. This is our plan. We're going to... But what the club tell us is that we're going to bring back our old Tottenham. We're going to play brilliant football. We're going to win trophies. We're going to inspire. We're going to bring in the best players in the world. And then we don't do it. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, like Sean said, I called it the other day that I'm worried, and I never said it was happening, but I said I'm worried that Levy's actually managed to blag Ange to use youth players. Last season, we had an abundance of youth players that were actually looking good, right?
Yeah.
The Donleys, the Niall Johns, all that type of players, yeah, right? Whoever else was there, I can't think of the names. But we had an abundance of youth players who looked really good. Yeah. It took until the end of the season for a couple of them to get the odd 5 minutes here or there, yeah?
Yeah.
Even when we had an abundance of energies, Ange chose to use a midfielder at left back and a right back at left back before using a youth player. Then the season ended. Then it's like, I want to challenge for the title next season. I want to, you know what I mean? And all the noise we had, we're going to attack PSR. We're going to sign this player. we're going to do this, this, and this. None of it's come to fruition. Not one bit of it, yeah? Even I need it in the beginning of the window, right? We got, 28 days until the season starts again, something like that?
Yeah.
And yet, the only players that are out on the tour are all youth, right? And it's a big worry, because if we're going down that route, yeah, right, there's going to be a situation, right, where fans are going to click on and say to themselves, well, hold on a minute, we're paying how much money?
Yep.
We're buying this. Who wants, I'm sorry to say, yeah, who wants to spend £100 and odd
to watch Mikey Moore play at the moment?
Yeah, but even to buy his name on the shirt.
Yep.
Unfortunately, he is a great talent, and this is no disrespect to him. He is not a big name. He is a prospect of a youth. Because he's having a good season, he's got a little bit of talent. What happens next season if that talent dwindles and he starts gaining an attitude, he starts becoming a bit of a Muppet, and his football starts dwindling?
Yeah. It's no disrespect to him. I'm not.
No, not at all.
I'm not having I'm not spending some games £100 to watch Mikey Moore play at 18 years, 17 years of age. It's not acceptable.
Nope.
It's not acceptable. You pay £100 to see top players because apparently we're a big team, and Mikey Moore might be that player that gets bums on seats and, of course, gets bums off seats as well, because you want players to excite you. You want players to play incredible football. It's a worry, isn't it? Because it's not adding up. It's not adding up economically, and it's not adding up philosophy-wise, is it?
No, and this thing, it's great having youth players, yeah, right? Don't get me wrong. There's no disrespect on any youth player.
Yeah,
it's not saying they're not good enough.
We love youth players in this team.
Yeah, we do. But youth players are only good, yeah, if you've got a great first team for them to gel into. At the moment, we don't. Our defense last season was one of the worst. Our attack was one of the worst.
Yeah.
We had no midfield, right? You can't fit a bunch of youth players into that type of thing because it will ruin them.
Yeah.
It will destroy them, because you've got a youth player, right? Imagine if, right, Archie Gray, Bergvall, Don Lee, Mikey Moore, and say who else is there as well? Lancashire, yeah? Right?
Yeah.
Imagine all them were a part of that Chelsea game where we had 2 red cards, where we got absolutely hammered. Right? They'll walk away from that and their confidence will be destroyed because they haven't built up enough within their mind to be able to handle stuff like that. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just, my opinion on this, excuse me, is that they will be put in a position where it can just knock their confidence.
Yeah.
Our team isn't good enough. No one can say it is. I'm sorry. Adding Mikey Moore in this team changes nothing other than you've got a 16-year-old in, and you can turn around and go, we've got a 16-year-old in the squad.
Yeah.
Adding Lancashire, yeah? I actually give it, yeah? Adding Lancashire to that bench, right? Okay, it gives you a little something. Yeah, I can be honest with that because we don't have a striker.
Yeah.
Lancashire could probably do a better job than Richarlison. Not saying he's better, but Richarlison has an issue at times and stuff like that. We got told we're challenging for the season. This season coming now, and specifically said his words, I want to be challenging for the title. Right? You cannot challenge for a title with kids.
Yep.
You just can't do it. I'm sorry.
There was one team that did that, and that team wasn't just a bunch of kids. They were godlike kids. You had players like Paul Scholes in it, David Beckham's, Nicky Butt, the Neville brothers. They still had experience around them.
They still had experience in there, mate. Do you know what I mean? To win. We don't. We don't have that experience there. And that's a big issue.
He says he wants to bring a winning mentality to the club. You can't bring a winning mentality with kids. They don't have it. They've never won anything. Like, even Jude Bellingham, I would say Jude Bellingham has a winning mentality and he hates losing. But even him, he was at Dortmund. Now he's at Real Madrid, where he's not just got winners. He's got the winners around him who have shoved that winning mentality into his young brain constantly. The Modric's, the Krooses, the Rudigers, players that have won, been there, done it, easy, got the t-shirt. Oh, That's not good enough. It's not good enough us winning 1 Champions League. I want to win 5. That's the mentality someone like Jude Bellingham now has, because he's got those people shotgunning that into his head. Every day in training, from the moment he gets in that training pitch to the moment he leaves it, he's got those players around him. Whereas putting youth players in that team is just going to bring that down, and you've got to build it up again. Yeah. So it's a worry, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Because if you look at the players that we've got rid of, right, they're all older players. Majority of them are all older players. Don't get me wrong, Sess isn't, but come on, injury prone. Jaffet Tanganga, I'm sorry, if you rate him, fair enough. He was rubbish. Yeah. He was going nowhere.
He had no technical ability, Jaffet. He had less technical ability than this empty can of Coke I've got by
he had one good game against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And everyone overhypes it. Just like Winks did against Real Madrid. Had one good game. What did he do? He was still rubbish.
Yeah.
But for me, if we're going down
the Champions League final, to be fair to him, Winks, he was the best player
to be fair, yeah. But if we're going down this route, right now with Ange, right, this is not criticism on him. What we are being critical of him with is he's saying one thing, then a few weeks later, a completely different thing is being done, right? And that's the worry. Is Ange now, under the guise of Levy, being a yes man? So Levy's turning around and saying, look, we've got no money. We're poor. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? This sponsorship deal, this crack, and the biggest shirt sponsor that Spurs have ever had, doesn't give us any money. And unfortunately, now we're going to have to either buy to sell. But then when we buy, sell to buy. But when we buy, it can only be youth players because of wages, and actual good players will require more of a higher transfer fee and obviously wages and signing on bonuses and all that. And we can't afford it, right? Due to whatever. Don't put it past Levy to do that, right? Yeah. Do not put it past Levy. We've seen it before, right? And so far, this window is actually, if you think about it, and it sounds daft, is probably worse than the days of where Poch didn't even get a signing.
Yeah.
Because you just knew.
So much promise, and there was so much promise.
That's it.
And that's the problem. You shouldn't promise things you're not going to give.
No.
If you say we're going to sign players early, and we've not signed players, and the season starts 3 weeks in the future, that's not good enough. If you say we're looking at strikers and we're not looking at, we've not seen a single link for a striker. Not a single link has come through one of the journos.
Why? Because Lancashire. You got that little report that came out stating that Lancashire has really impressed. Again, like Spence, really impressed the coaches, being one of the best, being one of the most improved. Yeah, forwards. No, he hasn't. Sorry. He's done nothing in pre-season, really, if you think about it. Like, have a deep about it. There's no criticism of him. But if you deep what the words were said and what he's done, right? Has Lancashire actually really impressed you?
No.
He can't have done. He hasn't had enough game time.
Yeah,
but you had that little noise.
He had half an hour.
If that. But then you had that noise that he's been really impressive in training and all that, and all the coaches are super impressed with him. He'll be our striker next season.
More time, then.
Yeah, exactly.
Spence,
exactly why.
They're really impressed with Spence, and you've seen it. He's had 2 really good halves of football. So you said, okay, understand that.
Yeah. But then what happens when Porro comes back? And in the
team, he's not playing.
No, Spence isn't going to play. So what's going to happen then? Is his attitude going to come into play, or what happens there? Right? We still need an actual decent out-and-out striker, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? We need that. We still need a
sorry to my Richarlison friend and family. He's not good enough.
No, Richarlison's not bad in the sense of he's
not bad, but he's not.
He fits our system. Yeah, he fits our system.
No, he doesn't.
I think he does. The
reason he doesn't fit our system is Richarlison scores 60% of his goals with his head. We don't cross the ball. We cross the ball low, and we get tap-ins in the box. We don't.
Yeah, but that's what he can do. If you look, when Richarlison came back, why did he score them abundance of goals? because it was coming from Brennan Johnson, who was hitting low balls into the box, and Richarlison was scoring from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at last season and with Richarlison, when he had that little span of scoring goals, Johnson was coming from the right, and it was a low ball in. Every training session we play, you see him trying to hit the low through the box. They're not crosses over, the crosses low. Yeah, that's the tactic Ange wants. He wants to walk the ball into the net because it looks pretty. It's good for the fans. It doesn't always work, and it's easy to defend against at times. But yeah, with this again, do you want to answer this question?
We'll answer this question quickly. Where would we finish? 8th.
I think worse. I think we'd finish around about 10th. Okay. If we were to end the season now, because
Man United have improved, haven't they? Man United.
Yeah, United, West Ham have got some decent players. They just had a great defender in Max Kilman.
Yeah. Max Kilman's a great player. I like Max Kilman. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was clear that he wanted him early. The fact there hasn't been any signs tells me all we need to know. I massively agree with you. If Ange doesn't adapt, he'll be gone. I think we'll have a really tough start. Yeah, it's a tough start. Standards aren't high. Lancashire competed with injured. Richarlison, Son and Scarlett. I agree with you, Reese. I agree with you. This squad becomes 9th behind Brighton. Richie can score a goal. We need an Ivan Toney.
We need aggressive.
Chiesa, Tony, or Eze. I'd be happy if we signed one of those. We should be signing all 3 of those.
Yeah, I would not be happy with one of them. Our transfer business has been Archie Gray. Lucas Bergvall he's like a new signing, right? But he's still a kid like Archie Gray. Yeah. Timo Werner, even in pre-season, is showing you how bad he is. Right?
Good to see.
And the worrying thing is, Tony is there to buy. If we wanted him, we could get him.
Yeah.
Right? Eze is there now. If we wanted to get him, pay the money. Yeah. Chiesa is there. Right? Neto is there. What I'm worried about is we're going to get a couple more youth players, yeah? And the only big signing we'll get will be one of them, as if it's a marquee signing. Not one of them is a marquee signing. Ivan Toney is a marquee. Eze is a marquee. Chiesa is a marquee. Or Neto is a marquee. They're not what you class as marquee signings.
Yeah.
Chiesa's been around the game for many, many years. And frankly, he's had enough of Juve, probably. Neto is always injured.
The system he enters. Motta is changing the guard, and he's changing the system. So he doesn't fit in. But, it is a worry, isn't it? I'm just going through a couple of comments.
Yeah, right. We're not getting carried away, but what you got to think is, last season, you got to base off, because obviously we can't predict the future. No one can. This is just an opinion. The reason we're saying that is because if we get injuries, we don't have the correct backups for them. A youth player isn't a correct backup. And that's the worry thing. Every time Maddison gets touched now, he's rolling around on the floor grabbing his ankle, which means he is consistently worried that he's getting an injury on his ankle. When there was one game in the preseason, he didn't get hit in that ankle. It was the other one, and he still grabbed that one that he's worried about. Our system's going to be a lot faster next season, which means Van der Ven's hamstring is going to be on touch. He's got a worse hamstring injury list than Neto.
Yep.
Then you look at other players. You got to look at cards. You got to look at things. This is just opinion. We can't predict the future. We could go and win the league with these kids. Who knows?
We're not going to win the win.
We're just giving an opinion on this.
We're not.
Yeah. But my worry about all this is, is there's players there that we could buy. Yeah. Currently, the club seems to be doing nothing, bar selling players, which means it's making the books look really good. If we end this transfer window with just Archie Gray, right?
That is a disaster of a transfer
window. It's
beyond
a disaster. It's beyond disaster. Like I said, it's worse than the Poch one, because this season we were told we've got hope. This season we were told we're going to compete. Yeah? Under Poch, we never had that. It was a big drama.
Yeah.
Right? We knew we weren't signing anyone. This one, we thought we were going to get a load of abundant signings in. We were going to compete. Currently, Arsenal have had better business than us.
The team.
Yeah, but Arsenal have got better business with us because they had an insane defence and they just added to it with Calafiori.
Yeah.
Right? West Ham, right? Just got a new manager. already had decent players in the team with the Kuduses, the Bowens. They just signed Max Kilman and they signed some Luis Guillermo or someone his name is or whatever. A young
Guillermo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, who looks like a little talent. And they're looking at going after other players. Chelsea going to strengthen. Crystal Palace, who at the end of last season, Glasgow had them playing beautiful football, are going to do business. United, just signed a really great young prospected defender. They just signed a striker in Xerxes. Yeah, so that means they've got 2 young strikers up there in Højlund and Xerxes. We are being held back again by this board who seem to not want to actually spend money, right? Now, it's too late. Regardless of what business Tottenham do now is not good. We're on the tour. This is when these players should be a part of this squad to learn, to train with, to understand each other, to gain connections.
Yeah.
This means even if we signed Eze tomorrow, right, and we signed Neto, we signed Keys, we signed Tony, we signed Gyökeres, signed them all, right? It's still a crap window because it's too late.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to build a connection with the rest of the players
until the third game of the season.
And we never sign multiple players at once, by the way. It's always one, then a week later it's another one. So it's for anyone coming on this and going to call us negative or toxic. No, we're not. We're not negative or toxic. It's just reality at the present moment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just one of them. Why am I wrong, Paulio125? In what way am I wrong? You said I'm wrong, but haven't said why.
That's a good point as well. Ren agrees with you. And Rennie's a smart cookie. She is a smart cookie. So
I just want to know why I'm wrong. In what way am I wrong?
Explain it to don't worry, 2 loan players coming in August. Levy out. I'm negative and I own it. It's having a different opinion. As Tony and Neto would never have gone on the top there of their holiday after the tournament. Yes, but you plan around that.
Yeah, but not necessarily either, because if they were to sign for a new club, sometimes a lot of players do actually cut out their holiday short and they go on a pre-season instead. Many players have done it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying they would have. I'm not saying they would have.
You're wrong because you've never heard of two-in before. I said it correctly this time.
Yeah. I just don't understand I just don't understand what I'm wrong about, and I'm not seeing as to why. It's just you're wrong with no context or explanation. So
you're wrong because
you're more a yes man if you don't say no to that.
And you've got a great beard.
Yes, Rinkese is not necessarily a yes man. Ange is not that word yes man, right? I don't agree with it fully. I don't think Ange is actually fully agreeing with Levy. Like Levy's turned around and said, "You've got to use youth players," and Ange is like, "Yes, I'm going to." It's not like that. It's more of right. There was a plan. Ange said there was a plan, and that is this their plan? And is this the plan that they agreed? We was trying to hold us up and down the clubs involved in deals. But there is no holder. I still don't understand where I'm wrong.
This is a terrible window. We're standing still. What are the scouts doing? We have not added to the squad that struggle playing once a week. Absolutely. And we're playing 3 times a week this season. 3 times a week.
If we stay in competitions, mate, we're playing 4 times. The thing is, it's just no one's right or wrong in this because it's all about opinion. We don't know the facts. We're not sitting there in the boardroom with... Yeah, exactly. But we're not saying it. I'm right. I'm not saying I am right. By the way, when I say what I am doing, what have I said wrong? I'm not saying right. Ben's not saying right. The chat's not saying right. But what's in front of you, you can only talk about and you can give an opinion on it. Yeah. That's all we're doing. Tomorrow, we could sign every best player under the world in one hit. But until that happens,
we're
hoping to be wrong. Until that happens, we're in the position of hoping we're wrong. I wish I was wrong. I wish at the end of this window, I've looked like a complete muppet and I can come on and say, yeah, I was completely wrong. And we had an amazing window.
He's not a yes man. The fact he's come out, we said he wants him early. That's the way to communicate he's not being backed. I do actually agree with that statement. Yeah. I agree with that statement. Yeah, I agree with that. Spurs should do a tour of Wales and then we can have a lesson in Welsh pronunciation. Yay! Yes! I will be at Roadman's house. We're going to chill
You're
out,
welcome.
drink a load of Guinness. It was a great way to communicate. He's not being backed without saying he's not being backed. I agree. It's a plan that will never make the A team because they love it when they love it when a plan comes together. Absolutely. Lang has shut down leaks on deals, but
I don't think.
No, he hasn't because we haven't signed anyone.
Yeah, everyone knew about Archie Gray. For weeks, we knew about Archie Gray that we were going in.
16-year-old is always right. Would you like me to ask her? Don't ask a 16-year-old anything. Van der Ven went straight into Player of the Year. Had to be done late or never at all. But Van der Ven that's a rare fish.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not like you can't do deals late. It's just not good to have them that late when the players are there to be bought. You get them in. You want them excited for the season. Yeah. You don't want them coming in late and then, you know what I mean? Van der Ven's a rare talent. You can't put him in a bracket of, you know what I mean? The other players, because he is just one of the best. He is the best defender in the world. One of. Do you know what I mean? Sorry. Hold on. One of the best defenders in the world. But to all you little people out there who are going to clip that, he will be the best defender in the world. That man is mustard.
That's a clip that's fantastic. Going on TikTok for sure.
Yeah, he is mustard, mate. What a player. Massive. He's outstanding.
But on that note, guys, it actually is time for us to end the show. We've run over time by 7 minutes. So
that's good.
That was a good show. It's always good to ask a question. Can start in. I'm not.
Sengenedid.
What?
Say it, man. Say it. Say it.
What?
Say it.
I've completely forgotten now. You've now become what's his name from Deadpool. What's it? Say it.
Say it. Say it.
Thank you all so much for watching today's show. The Coffee Company will be live at 3:30 tonight for the Brewing Bollocks podcast with myself, the Coff, the Kang, Bobby K, and maybe Coos if he's fit enough, but also Brian is willing to be Coover's replacement. If we'll be live later on Evening Brews with Mr. Daigle and Mr. James Flower. So thank you all so much for watching today's show. Have a great rest of your day. Take it away, Roadman.
Toma ni mind.
And if you smell, the Cough is brewing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Ciao for now.